French Alps. Stunning November day. It's frosty this morning. I've just transited through Domancy village. That was the Côte de Domancy just starting on the right there. That's in the World Champs in 2027. But it's also a locals cut through, so it's quite a busy road, whereas this is adjacent to it and there's hardly any traffic on it. This is Mont Blanc, just coming into view. Snow line dropping. General sales on the Étape sold out in 30 minutes. Makes me wonder how many entries go to tour operators and like pre-sales. I reckon there must have been less than 50% of the 16,000 available on Monday lunchtime. For us mere mortals, once you're over the Col de Sirène, the route seems to go into Alpe d'Huez and then immediately turn right by the ski lifts and go up to the traditional Tour de France finish line. Whereas with the pro race, a few days later, I'm led to believe that once they get into the outskirts of Alpe d'Huez, they're going to turn left down that kind of ancillary road. I think it takes you down to around Bend 4 or Bend 5 coming up Alpe d'Huez. So they'll still have a couple of kilometres on the traditional Alpe d'Huez climb before they wind through the village and then up to the Tour de France finish line. So that's just worthy of note if you are staying out to watch the professional race. I invested in a new Garmin 850. All it seems to do is beep all the time when we're hitting a climb, but this is the best feature. Setting up the bell to your Di2 levers. How cool's that? This is Sallanches over in the distance here. Geneva's down that valley, and the lake down here is Lac Passy. That was where I was filming for the Étape video the other week. There's lots of talk online as to whether 2026 is going to be the toughest Étape on record, and I think on paper I would stand by that statement. However, for my Étape experience, 2023 was the most brutal. That was a little bit down to fitness, but mostly down to heat. And you can see how I got on in that Étape by clicking the video up to your right here. That year the Étape was 150 kilometres, 4,200 metres of climbing. As usual, there was 16,000 entrants. I can't get a figure as to how many were at the actual start line. However, there was 11,700 that actually crossed the finish line. November is a super quiet time for us. It's mainly just admin work. That means it's time for holidays. We're back in the UK for a week, visiting family, and then we've been down here in Lanzarote. We're just coming up to the end of our 2-week stay down here. One of the things I've never really got dialed in is nutrition. So whilst I was back in the UK, I went along to one of these sweat test labs to do a formal sweat test and to see how much sodium I'm losing. The results are pretty interesting, that even though I'm a heavy sweater, I'm sweating about 1 litre an hour on a hot day, I'm a very low sodium sweater, so I'll never get those salty marks on my kit on a hot day. Another aspect to nutrition that I have been focusing on is the 1 gram of carbs per kilogram of weight per hour, and that's something that's been working really well in Lanzarote. Back to Lanzarote, I've been managing to do some 100 kilometre rides in the mornings, but we've had a right mixed bag of weather. You can see from the sky today it's quite moody. We had the Kalima sandstorm from the Sahara Desert for 2 days. Wasn't really worth riding in that, the air was so thick with the sand. Then we've had quite a lot of rain, and to be honest, we've been coming here for more than 10 years, and this is the greenest that I've seen it. And as usual with Lanzarote, it was windy yesterday, it's windy today, and no doubt it'll be windy tomorrow. However, some days it's been mega windy. This section I'm on now is a 13-kilometre segment, and a few days back I knocked 3 minutes off my PB, which was back in 2014, and I was much fitter back then than I am now. I hit 85 k's an hour at one point. The news from back in Domancy is that it's been absolutely hoofing it down with snow. Looks like the best start to the ski season in about 10 or 12 years. So, one more day left here, back to the snow. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.